Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Fuel the Conversation, a podcast for fuel people by fuel people. I am Freddie Riddler, and as always, Mr. Kyle Sheehan. Kyle, how are we doing on this frigid morning?
Ooh, it is cold out. I hope everyone out there that's listening is taking full advantage of all the cold weather. People complain to me. My wife complains to me when she wakes up. She goes, "It's negative 14 degrees today." And I go, "That's amazing for our industry. Everyone should have a smile on when they go out and it seems like little things are biting your face. That's awesome weather. We're starting to gear up now for our busy season. We used to say we had seasons where it wasn't necessarily as busy for us in the winter. And then as summer projects started to kick off, we'd ramp up and that'd be our crazy season. I found in the last years that that's not the case anymore. We're busy all year round, and I have a feeling most companies are busy all year round now. But our big show is starting to come is right around the corner. We're kicking off all of our shows, getting ready to see everybody in person again and see how the winters went and show all the new things we've been working on all winter. So I'm really excited. It's such an exciting time of the year.
What a great segue to the special guests today. I'll let them do their introductions, but we have two great guests today, and it kind of segues right into the big show, the National Propane Gas Association Southeastern Expo, which in the industry we just call the Expo. But Bummy, Kathie, welcome to the podcast. Please, Bummy, I'll start with you. Do a quick intro, your role at RCC, how long you've been at RCC, and your favorite story about Kyle.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Yeah, my name is Bummy. That's just my nickname, though. My real name is Benjamin Baumgartner. Nobody calls me that except for basically my own mother and maybe a few other select people. So everybody knows me as Bummy around here. I've been here. I'm on year number 14 now, believe it or not. So when I was initially first hired here at RCC 14 years ago, we had three other Bens in the office. So when they hired me, another Ben, they said, no, 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 we can't have another Ben. You're going to be known as Bummy. And so when I started my first day, they had my email as Bummy Bumgartner, and my little cards were made up Bummy Bumgartner. So I really had no choice in the matter, but that's what I kind of go by around here is just by my nickname. So yeah, so I am the team lead here for the Mogo department. Like I said, 14 years in the making. So I've been here since the inception of Mogo, and it's been quite a thrilling ride. So really pleased to be here.
You got any fun stories about Kyle? I mean, since we're just gonna
We have all the time that we have. Kyle and I go way back, but I think we've had some pretty enjoyable times over the road together. We've had some pretty large implementations over the years that we've done together as a team. And we've had some good stories along the way. I should probably keep most of those to ourselves, though. Um, but we've had some good times over the years. A lot of windshield time, a lot of traveling, a lot of sightseeing, a lot of doing really exciting things. So.
And we never hit a deer through that entire process.
We can't say that for everybody in our department.
We can say about me and you.
That's right.
Just like every good married couple, if you can remodel a house together, you're meant for each other. If you two can travel around and do Mogo installs together and you're still working together, awesome.
There's something to be said for that, Freddie. Absolutely. Kyle and I have been through a lot together, so I think we know each other's temperament pretty well and know when to give each other space or know when to, collaborate. So.
And Kathie, welcome. Same questions for you. I know you've been here longer than I have, so share at the end of it. Share a fun story about working at RCC. What's one of your greatest memories?
I've been with RCC 21 years, going on 22 in May. When I was hired, I was in just general fuel support. At that point, just general fuel support. It's not just. There's a lot that comes with supporting customers, down to business needs, taking support calls just to train them. My roles have shifted a little bit. I still do fuel support on a daily basis. I do data converts, data consolidations, knowing that when I started, there were only 3 of us in support, and now we have grown. What is our number for support now?
34 to 37, somewhere in there, not including the MOGO support team. That's the fuel support team.
Yeah, a good chunk of my day is just helping our staff, whether it's new staff or existing staff, with little questions they've got and some big questions they've got. I will say that I agree with Kyle. Initially, when I started, I remember at that point, Susie and Brian and Todd would say, here are our slower months. Here are months that it's up. And honestly, I think after the first year of being here, that was just not the case. I don't know that if we have a lull period, it's maybe a day or two in a month, but it's definitely not seasonal. Love working with all of you. Freddie actually got to work next to me in our original building, and we have both worked together in the support department for quite a number of years, and before you shifted to Mogul. And it's nice seeing everybody, including Bummy, shift gears in the company and find their niche and find what works for them.
Yeah, when I first started here, I started in the fuel support side as well. Well, it was before Mogo even existed. So all we really had was our fuel support FDS software. And then on the other side of the building where I am now was the mutual insurance side of the business at the time. And so when I started in fuel support, I remember Susie, she told me, and I didn't come from a computer background or a propane background. This was all brand new to me. And so I was very green. And Susie's like, just give it a year, Bummy. Just give it a year and it'll come around. It'll get better. Well, then a year came and went, and I'm just like, oh my Lord, what am I doing here? Like, holy cow. Well, then by the grace of God or whatever, the stars aligned and Mogo, it was time we developed and started putting Mogo out on the scene, and that was really, it fit my personality a little bit more uh, better, I would say, than the fuel support side did. So really thankful for that.
Imagine if you didn't have that initial year of fuel support, you learned not only some of the propane business, but you learned a lot about the software itself, which of
Yes,
course ties back into the Mogo tablets.
absolutely.
You kind
Everything
of had a
under
leg
one
up.
roof.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. You're right. There's so
And
much
all,
that ties in from the backside to the front side. And then, of course, we have to upload those sales back from Mogo into FDS. And all that knowledge really helped in those early years for sure.
and I'm going to point out, this is one of our core values as a company is longevity and retention. I'm the rookie still. 13 years under my belt and I still get to call myself a rookie, and that's truly amazing. You guys have been through so much with the company in our 40 something, going on 45-year longevity of the business. And part of that is now we've been at the trade show in the Southeast Expo for our 40th year, and you guys have gotten to go to those, and I know that has evolved very rapidly over the years too. And I think that's what we're getting into today is a little bit about that Southeast trade show and how it's evolved and why we're all so excited about going to it.
Yeah, and I want to say one real quick thing. The four of us right here, 70 years at RCC. I want to point that out.
70?
Wow.
70.
Wow. So
So-
you're saying we're still really young?
Yeah, 70 years. I was writing them down as quick as you were saying them. And if my math is right and somebody who's watching this can tell me if I'm wrong.
That's
But
a lot of
yes.
years for not a lot of gray hair looking at this screen here.
Yeah.
I don't get gray hair; it just doesn't grow anymore.
It just stops growing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like Kyle said, the NPGA Southeastern Expo, the biggest propane show in North America. There's some other big ones in the world, but let's concentrate on that for a little bit. 39, 40 years exhibiting this year. It's a crazy expo. We get to see new customers. We get to see existing customers. It's just a big venue, almost like a family atmosphere where you get there and you're just smiling from the time you walk in, from the time you walk out, because everyone is just in this positive mood of just excited to see everybody. Kathie, I'm going to start with you. Have you ever been to the expo before? And two, can you share a little bit of that story and kind of why you're excited to be going this year?
Okay, memory lane. So it's been a number of years since I've attended one. I think I was with RCC a full year before I went to the first expo in Atlanta. Energy. we will just say, I was nervous. It was the first time I had traveled for anything outside of the office. Susie and Brian had given me kind of a rundown of what it was going to be. I don't think I was prepared to understand how much time was consumed in being there, between being at the booth, mingling with vendors, anything after hours. I remember at that point, I had no children. I'm actually thankful I didn't, because my energy level was a little bit better. But we didn't have the convenience of staying close to the venue in Atlanta. So Ken Amber, of course, was in sales at that point, and we were getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock to get a ride to make sure we were at the venue on time. And it was nonstop go from 6 o'clock in the morning to maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely wonderful, though. Meeting customers that were already with RCC, new companies, our vendors, the energy at the expos. I'm looking forward to this year to see how different it is. But the energy and the connection you get to make with everybody as a whole is just awesome. I walked away that first and second year going, we're kind of a big thing. It was my first experience also from the propane side, seeing how our software made a difference in business lives. So yeah, you walk away, your head held high going, wow, we get to help with all of that. And that's a pretty big deal.
That show to me, I haven't been attending nearly as long as you guys have, but just Kathie, can you speak a little bit towards, that show's evolved. You were at one point during that show, it wasn't just the show for us, right? We had an entire training customer seminar leading all the way up to the day of actually going onto the trade show floor. So, just speak a little bit about how that added on to the excitement, the stress level, the whole experience of that. And since then we've gone away and we've created our seminar to be its own event in and of itself. But at that time, it was a pairing that we felt worked really well because a lot of our customers were already going down. So we'd be able to take them and go, let's educate you more. And so that you don't bombard us on the trade show floor. But still, that didn't happen. We still got bombarded.
I was going to say, it still always happened. We always had a table off to the side that Susie or Brian would spend almost the entire day demoing software. And if it wasn't demoing, we always had our meetings with customers. We didn't have the RCC seminar. That was our primary time to not only meet new companies, but to take care of needs from our existing customers. They were long days, but they were so fun. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and I remember that too. And I'm gonna switch over to Bummy because he's got probably a little more fun story about the seminar slash benchmarking meeting slash set up the trade show slash let's get ready to entertain new and existing customers. It's busy, it's crazy, but you're right though, and I want to say this: it's so rewarding because when it's tiring, but at the end of the day, we're all human. And the great thing about our existing customers is they get to meet us. And we're not just a software company. We're not. And I say this all the time in a lot of our marketing stuff that we do. We're not off the shelf a product. We are a family owned business that treats you like family. And so when you get to see those people and talk to those people and say hi and smile and shake their hand and occasionally give a hug if you're not afraid of germs, it gets to be a lot of time where you find the value in your job every day. But kicking it over to you, Bummy, same questions. If you've been to an expo prior, tell us some stories. This year it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Talk about maybe where you attended before and what you think. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So I first attended the Southeast NPGA show in Atlanta in 2014, and I was just a little over 2 years on the job, I think. So still pretty new, still trying to get accustomed to what we even do as a company. But we just released Mogo at that time, and so they brought me down there to help demo Mogo, to help answer questions, and basically get it off the ground running a little bit. And so we had this real kind of rickety, bad looking demo kit with the register head on it and wires going everywhere. And it was just kind of a mess. But it was a working demo kit, and we were able to demo Mogo off of it. Well, what we had to do is we carried that demo kit in a giant Pelican case. So, like you said, we had the customer seminar before the actual show. And so we had a period of time of maybe 30 minutes to pack up the demo kit once the seminar was over, get everything packed up, drag it across Centennial Olympic Park from the Embassy Suites over to the Omni. I think it was probably a 15-minute walk. And then we had to hustle up the stairs into the conference room. I think Brian had a benchmarking meeting. We were going to show demo off to these people a brand new product. And so then we had to unpack it out of the Pelican case that the demo kit was packed in, and I was just dripping in sweat. And Brian's kind of going, "Well, Bummy, we got like just a couple of minutes. You gonna get this hooked up?" And I'm like, "I'm working on it." So yeah, it was a lot of fun shuttling that big giant piece of equipment around, trying to meet timelines because we went from seminar to a benchmarking group, and then we had to pack it all up, bring it over to the exhibit hall, and unpack it and get it all set up again for the show. So there was a lot going on there. And then once we were at the show, it was a lot of fun, especially in those early years of Mogo, because a lot of our existing customers are like, "Oh, you guys got your own handheld now. Now we don't have to interface with a third party. Like this is kind of a big deal because now we know they already bought into RCC as a company and who we are as a family company, like you were saying, Freddie. Now they were going to be able to get that same support on the handheld side, which I think was pivotal for a lot of these relationships. So um, showing off Mogo that first year on the floor, I remember we'd do some demos. Freddie, I know you would do some demos, and there would be a crowd of people in the hallway. And they're kind of all of our existing customers, but I remember it put on quite the show on the sales floor there to all the other vendors seeing what we had going on at our booth. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like Kathie said earlier, it really made you feel like, wow, we're in the big leagues now. This is cool. And so yeah, we're kind of a big deal. Now, we might not have the fancy women in fancy costumes like some of our competitors had at the show floor booth, if you remember. We didn't we didn't really need the fancy gimmicks to sell our software. Our software kind of sells itself.
When you're talking about running to the next one, our seminar went to noon, but nobody left us. Like it was 12, 12:15, 12:30. The trade show started at 4. So we had I'm going to say 3.5 hours to set up our booth in suits. And these guys had to run to a benchmarking meeting, which was in the same building, but not right in the convention hall. So we had like 3 hours to present Mogo, set up a booth, and smile for all the attendees to walk in. It was crazy.
Bummy's been making propane sexy since 2015. That's all I heard there. Running through with his suit, sweat dripping down.
Pivot, insert making propane sexy logo right here, please. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. You know, of all those things, it's so exciting and the energy that's brought in. And the one thing that I really felt when I first went, you know, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, used to always say, "Well, oh, that's so exciting! You get to travel for work, and you know, it's like a mini vacation." And when you get into it, that's not it, right? But it's constantly moving. Like Kathie said, the show has definitely calmed down over the years. I heard stories in the 40 years we've been there that are not appropriate for the podcast, you know, that Uncle Kevin and Dad and everyone did, riding, you know, luggage carts down hills and pies in the face on the trade show floor and all these different things throughout the years. But, you know, the one thing that I felt, Freddie had said it too, it's such a rewarding experience. When we get done, you don't sit during that show. That's 10 hours on your feet, you know, showing the product, moving on to the next thing. We're not a type of company through our sales process that we sit down and we sit there for 2-3 hours and just showcase the product. We're really standing. We're showing you what's next. We're having conversations, and that's where that extra inch of foam padding comes in, so crucial that we get. And you know, if there's any vendors listening to it, that extra inch of foam padding is a lifesaver when you compare that to the cement that you stand on. So you know, of all that and the excitement that comes through, you know, let's start with Kathie. Kathie, what's one reason why one of our customers, or maybe somebody else listening to this podcast, what's your core reason of why you should go to this show? Why should you take that money, take that flight, fly into now Charlotte or wherever the show is at and attend this event?
I think the connection with customers and your vendors, being there one on one versus on the phone, video calls, there is just something about the interaction that you get when you're physically present.
And over. Bummy, same thing to you. What's your one reason why somebody should attend the show as not necessarily an exhibitor, but as an attendee and going to talk to people?
Yep. Nope. It's establishing that communication, that relationship up front with the customer. Like Freddie alluded to, and Kyle, we're a family-run company. We like to treat our clients as family as well, and that's just the first step. Even if we meet new potential customers there, we get that first face-to-face interaction, especially with, Freddie and Kyle. You guys might be able to go and talk to these people at different shows or things, but for support, and like Kathie and I, when we can make that first initial contact, I think that goes such a long way, because we're not there. We're selling the software, yes, but like I said, the software kind of sells itself. We're also selling us as individuals to these people. They're trying to understand who they're getting into business with, and when we, are a smiling face at the booth, that's the first contact, and I think that people remember the faces that they see right away. So to me, it's all relational. A lot of this, we are a software company, but like Freddie said, we're much deeper than that. We are a part of your livelihood when you get us as a software company, and so especially as support, we are involved in your day to day. We are your lifeline when it comes to your computer program. So knowing all that, I think just being upfront in front of all of our clients, whether existing or potentially new clients, I think that the show is a great way to show us off and sell ourselves.
Yeah. So I'll tell one story and I'll kick it back over to Freddie about that in-person piece of it. So one of those things is it was probably the third time I've ever been to the show, and putting that face behind that person that you're constantly talking to, well, not constantly, that you talk to, that you built this really professional relationship up with, being able to look them in the face and go, you are not at all what I envisioned, or you are smack dab on the button. I could have drawn a picture of you just talking to you. But I had one of those conversations with one of our current customers, and it's just after we had rewritten DM. DM was one of those pairings with Mogo that just went hand in hand with the back office on how to schedule and efficiently route customer bases. And we took the time to rewrite that, and we introduced a lot of these new things at the show. So, well, this is something we worked on all winter long. We got it all the way to a production release. And I was showing one of our current customers this new version, and she turned to me and she goes, Kyle, this is so awesome. Like you answered so many of the questions and concerns we had with how the previous version was working. My last question to you is, how much is it? And I go, Teresa, this is included. You got this because you've been paying for that module. And she got so excited, and she wrapped me up in this big bear hug. And by the way, Teresa's about 4 inches taller than I am, and I wasn't expecting this. So when you get that hug, you kind of go like this. So you're like, oh crap, I thought she was about to hit me, and she didn't. But that's that face to face. She never would have known that we'd rewritten it. She never would have known, that this was included. This is what the maintenance and subscriptions are going towards, is enhancing this and bringing this product forward. And that's just that face to face interactions you get that you don't get very many other places.
Well said. And you're right. There's so many stories like that. Every year we go, it's always fun to read all the recaps from all of our staff, because we do a recap meeting, just the staff that went, and then we tell all of our staff about it, because our staff, thank you, props to all of our staff for being back home and taking those calls while we're gone too. I know everybody would love to travel to these expos and seminars. So this podcast goes out to all the staff that are not going out of the office this year, because you guys make it easy for us to do and leave. But we have so many exciting stories when we're there. We come back and we have a company meeting, and we have pictures to show everyone. We tell stories, the hugs that we're getting, because when I wasn't at the expo and I was here doing software support, and somebody would come back and said, I got to meet Dave, and this is a picture of Dave, and this is what he's like. And I'm like, finally, I get to see him because all I hear is just his voice, right? Well, now after COVID, we do a lot of video conferencing now, which is super helpful. But back before 2020, you knew them by what they sounded like. So it's an incredible experience to see these people. So my closing question for both of you, and I'll start with Bummy this time. April 4th through the 6th, the NPGA Southeastern Expo, Charlotte, North Carolina. What is one thing, you don't have to be specific name of the company or the person, maybe just a story. What's one thing that you want to accomplish? Maybe you want to meet somebody for the first time, you want to tell somebody, maybe it's the product drop. What's the one thing you're excited for in Charlotte this year?
Really good question. I'm excited to watch Kyle present.
The panelist, yep.
Yeah, no, I am excited for that, but no. Honestly, it's some of the customers we just rolled out of Mogo this past year or two, and if I haven't seen them face to face since we've rolled out Mogo, that's the conversation I look forward to the most. How's it going? What are your experience? What was your experience like? How can we do it better? But following up with a brand new client to me is really that's kind of the litmus test if we're doing a good job or not. And so I'm excited to talk to those people in that regard. But I also really enjoy meeting the new customers too. Last year we onboarded a new customer that we met at the show. We got to meet them face to face, and I got to tell you that went so far when we went into implementing it, already having that relationship established. And then it was just kind of an easy segue into rolling the product out for them. So those are my biggest, what I'm looking forward to the most.
I don't know if I have one thing. Because it's been quite a few years since I've been to one of the expos, I think item one I'm looking forward to is seeing the development of our booth and how different it is compared to then and now. I mean, visually, we have, a drawn up picture in the office, but I look forward to that from a company standpoint. I look forward to connecting with customers again, whether it's ones that I have known and personally met for 20 years. I actually have a customer that decided last week to say she wasn't going. And I told her I was going. And she said, this will give me a reason now to go. So that connection, that one-on-one time, I am hoping that some of our new customers that I've taken under my wings the last year or two are there. Those that I've not met face-to-face, those that have not been at the seminar. So it's that personal connection I look forward to the most.
Awesome. Booth 1220. If you're coming, make sure you stop by our booth 1220. Kyle, any closing remarks before we end the podcast?
I'm so excited for the Southeast show, for the Western show, for all the shows that we're attending and the staff that we get to share with our industry. That is so unique to us. From a vendor standpoint, you see a lot of the same, people. You build those relationships professionally with competition, with other vendors. And for us, we have this massive amount of staff that we'd love to share every individual person with. And I love that we're able to share a little portion of who we are as the company and offer that to our staff to go out and be able to attend these shows. So Bummy, Kathie, I'm looking forward to the 12-hour, 15-hour days we're about to spend together here as we go out to Charlotte. And, we'll have a lot of fun. And at the same time, we'll have a lot of work that we'll have to accomplish. So thank you both.
They are long days and a lot of work, but they are so rewarding. It's so much fun. It's so much excitement. So I can't wait either.
It's awesome. Agree.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. We'll see everyone in April in Charlotte. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for joining Kyle and Freddie's podcast, Fuel the Conversation.
A podcast for fuel people by fuel people. We really hope you enjoyed today's topics and you found them interesting, and we hope that you pulled some value out of our conversation today.
To hear more podcasts from Kyle, myself, and special guests, you can catch us on Spotify, Amazon Music, or the iTunes Store.
To find out more information on RCC, you can visit our website, www.rccbi.com. You can also find us on Facebook under Rural Computer Consultants, also under LinkedIn under Rural Computer Consultants, or go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at RCCInc79.
If you'd like to contact us directly, email us at sales@rccbi.com.
This is Kyle signing off.
And this is Freddie.
Until next time.